Hey everyone, it's Kyle from Kool Collectibles, and finally we have the Hot Toys Amazing Spider-Man figure in hand. It's been a hell of a long wait. I think this figure was initially scheduled for release, I think in late 2012, and then got pushed out to April 2013 and then June 2013. So yeah, it was just delay after delay, and then I think it was released in Asia, I think in Hong Kong in late 2013, and it's finally arrived in Australia in the first couple of months of 2014. So that's probably about a year and a half in delays. So it's probably going to be ranking right up there with some of the most delayed figures ever by Hot Toys. But overall, first impressions are it's a pretty damn awesome figure. So I'll get into all the controversy and so on in a little bit. But I'll just quickly pan down and just show you guys what it comes with. Just like the original Tobey Maguire, it comes with these little strands of webbing, so I won't get into that too much. But these hand sculpts, Hot Toys being Hot Toys, they are so detailed. So really nicely painted, and it goes really well with the suit, so the shade of red matches pretty well. So you get the two sets of fists, and you get the web holding hands, so you can slide those webs in there. So you get the detailing there. Got the good old web slinging hands, which you can see a bit more of the palm detail there, which is pretty awesome. And you get his, I don't know, Spidey jazz hands, I guess. So you get, look at that close detail. So they've really done an awesome job on the hands there, I reckon. Just a quick look at the packaging. On the right here, that's the front cover. So it's got a nice, unfortunately I don't think the figure's going to be doing that anytime soon. That there I think is a picture of the figure. So that's the inside slip cover. And if I just quickly turn that around, you get the back art with all the credits and so on. So the box itself is like a shoe box, but for whatever reason they went with the design here where the box isn't rectangular. It's got, you know, a bit of artistic angle to it, which I guess adds a bit of difference, but nothing too major. And one accessory I forgot to show is the head sculpt here. Let me just move him out the way. Now, there were a lot of complaints about the head sculpt, but I'm not sure why. It looks pretty good to me. I guess the hair is the main issue, or one of the main issues, but it's sculpted very nicely. I think the main issue was, I think a lot of people think in the movie his hair is a lot buffier, like almost an afro in some of the shots I've seen, but I don't mind it in this sort of look here. I don't really like the scars on the side here, the scratches on the side. It would have been better, I think, if they'd kept him just like this side. So, and here is the new neck joint, which I don't mind actually. I actually think that's a good design, but I'm a little worried about whether or not that's going to start peeling away. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, just looking at this paint app in hand, it's pretty obvious almost immediately that I don't know what Hot Toys does, but yeah, just their quality of paint app is just a level above Sideshows, to be honest. I mean, this sculpt in particular is probably one of the more flat, untextured sculpts. You know, the paint apps on DX13 and some of the other, you know, even Jack Sparrow, DX11 Joker, those ones are really detailed. This one's a little bit flat, with not that much skin texture or shading, but it still looks better than some of the ones I've seen from Sideshow. So I'm definitely hoping to get the Commander Wolf soon. That should be out in the next within the next couple of weeks, I think. So hopefully I can do a comparison with the wolf head sculpts there, but I have a feeling the paint app's not going to be as good as this either. So, but that's pretty much the accessories. So I'll just get all of this stuff out the way. Now it does come with the stand, and on this figure it probably is not even needed. He's one of the most stable figures I've got in my collection, so I don't know if I'll try and use this for one of the other figures or not. But let's bring this guy in. Now if I can just keep it back there and zoom in a little bit. Now, one of the main things I was worried about when I first got this figure, the first thing I looked for was this seam. And you know, on the original Tobey Maguire, the seam was, some figures had it really obvious, but on this one, the top of the head looks pretty good. So the only problem I've got with mine is, I guess, the under the chin is probably not as clean. If it actually focuses again, so you can see where it sort of gets a little bit jagged there. But I've seen that on pretty much all of the figures, so they need to do that seam somehow. And overall, it's not too bad. I've heard a lot of complaints about the yellow eyes, where they think it should be silver or whatever the texture is. I'm not that anal about it. It looks pretty good, and I think in the movie there are some scenes where it does look like it's yellow, so I'm pretty happy with that. And the costume itself, for some reason I actually thought the costume was going to have a sticky texture or a sticky feel to it like the black Spider-Man, but it doesn't. It's actually quite smooth, and I'm not quite sure what technology they use to put this thing together, but it's the texturing and the different sort of material and feel to it is pretty sensational. I mean, the red part is very much like a basketball, whereas the blue is more of a fabric type feel. So I guess you can see here where, you know, it's not perfectly symmetrical, particularly with the head joint. I'm not sure how much. I'll probably have a look online and see what I can do about that, but there's probably not much I can do. So the head joint there, at least it's sort of flush. I've seen others where it doesn't look very flush, but it's not exactly centered, which is a shame, but I probably won't be posing him looking from the back. I've seen others where there have been some splitting in the suit here, but there's no problems on mine. So down to the legs, all great texturing. Now the boots have got some awesome detail there, so they've done some really nice matching of what's in the movie there. And the articulation, I think you can sort of point them down slightly. I'm not going to try and do it too much, and so on. So now the main problem with the initial batch of these figures, as everyone probably knows by now, is the shoulders. Now mine did come with the extra set of instructions to warn you about how far you can lift these shoulders, but apparently I was told originally that if you had those instructions you got the old batch with the problems, so I'm a little confused because my shoulders actually are pretty fine. So you can see here they lift up pretty well, and they don't feel like they're broken or anything like that. I'm shaking it, I can feel the tension in the shoulders there. When you try and move it, I guess there were some videos posted online where you hold that joint here and you can rotate forward. Now the shoulders, it's sort of like a ratchet joint, so you can feel it as it sort of pops into place, so it stays there like that. So that's one rotation, and you click it in there, then you rotate it forward and you can feel it click in there, and then it goes back. And similarly for this shoulder, you can fold it like that, pick it back and back. Now you can rotate it even more, but I'm probably not going to try and do that. The only problem I've sort of got is, as you can see, this shoulder joint here, you can lift it and you can see this gap here. Now you can sort of move this shoulder. The joint has a mechanism where you can move it sort of up and down and forward and back, as you can see there. So if you lift it like that and then you just fold it directly down, it sort of stretches the suit out, so it has a nice sort of shoulder look to it. But on this one here, it's the same sort of mechanism, but when you sort of move it down, it stretches like I expect, but then it sort of goes back a little bit. So it's either the suit or, you know, the mechanism itself isn't quite holding it down. So that's the only problem I've really got with the shoulder. But other than that, the rotation itself is pretty good. Articulation wise, he's pretty awesome. He's articulated everywhere. The only problem would be the suit. I've heard problems where people have left the joints sort of crunched up, and putting them back into a normal position, the suit has been marked, or it's almost like it's been scalded with wrinkles, and that just won't come out. So I'm not going to be doing anything crazy with mine. But you can, he's got, you know, you can bend all the way, quite a long way back actually, and fold a long way forward. So as you can see, it starts wrinkling there, which I've seen some bad marks on the suit. So, and the legs, for some reason the legs make a strange creaky sound when you move them. So I don't know if that's normal or not, but that's what mine does. You can move it. They've got quite a long range of motion. So it really all depends on how willing you are to keep him in a dynamic pose like that. For me, I'm not going to try and damage the suit, so he is pretty much going to stay in some sort of museum pose. But I'll try and pick at least a decent looking one. And I'll try and futz with this shoulder a bit more to see if I can get it to lie straight like this one without having that weird arch in it. But if I can't, I can't. So it feels like it almost gets there, and then I let go and it sort of tries to jump back. But what else can I show you guys? So other than that, the suit is pretty nice. The seam work overall is pretty good. There's not too much slop. I guess here I've got a bit of fluff hanging off there, but I'm not going to try and cut that off just in case it starts to split. So yeah, everywhere else the seam work is pretty good. The head, when you turn the head, it does sort of twist the neck, which is a nice touch, but just be careful of the seams and whether or not that's going to start fraying as well. So on mine it looks pretty good, but I've seen others where it has started to fray. Other than that, it's pretty awesome. It feels pretty light. Now let me just for a size comparison, I'll just get the other Tobey Maguire. So here is Tobey Spidey, which is the same size as the black one, and you can see, I mean, even in that sort of pose, he is a lot beefier and slightly taller. If he was standing up straight, he'd be yeah, probably up to about here or so. So he's definitely more muscly. This one's probably more accurate to the movie, but either way I'm glad to have both in the collection. So I hope you like my quick thoughts. If you're worried about the shoulders and so on, I think all the recent stock have all been fixed, I guess. Hot Toys did announce, or Sideshow announced, that they went back and fixed the shoulders, so I don't have any problems with mine. I probably won't be doing anything too dynamic with mine, but overall it's a pretty solid figure. So if you're a Spider-Man fan, it's a definite must-have. And some people might be waiting for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure, which they haven't actually announced yet, and the movie hasn't even come out, and will probably come out sometime in 2015, I think. So if you want to wait that long, so be it. But for now, I picked this suit up, not necessarily because I love the movie. I thought it was okay, but I just liked that the suit was a bit different, something different to the classic comic look and so on. And the web slingers here are a nice touch. I'm not going to try and move those too much, or the suit in that area, just in case they pop off. But other than that, I would definitely recommend giving him a try. I'll post up some more pics on the Facebook page and the website after I get him into some decent poses. So stay tuned, and thanks again. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Hey everyone, it's Kyle from Kool Collectibles. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I finally got my Amazing Spider-Man replacement from Pop Culture today, and thankfully I can gladly report that the one I've got now is not broken and the shoulders are fine. So if you can see here, if I hold here and I try and rotate that, that stays in place, and the same with this left shoulder. So there's no breakages there, and if I raise that arm and I just push it down, it stays down, which it didn't before. As soon as I did that before on the old figure, because of the broken shoulder, it pretty much just lifted up again. So thankfully that's okay. And actually this one here, the symbol on the back is actually a bit more centered as well. There's still this problem here, but you can sort of futz around with the suit and pull that back down to make it a nice arch there, as it should be, I think. And overall, this one, the suit quality is actually slightly better than the one I had. The one I had before had some stitching issues, but this one here seems perfect, and the stitching on the top of the head is good as well, and the chin is probably slightly better than the one I had. There is a bit of a wobble there, but there's not much you can do about that with the stitching and the seam line there. And it's not really that noticeable from normal viewing distance, particularly if you've sort of got the head sort of turned or twisted like that. So I'm definitely happy with the shoulders. As before, I'm probably not going to pose him too much in anything overly dynamic. But if you do want to move the shoulders, you pretty much just hold that joint in place really, and just bend back, and it's on that sort of semi-ratchet type of joint, and it sort of locks in place like that. And that's the same on this side, so you can lift it up like so, move it back, and move it back like that, and there's no issues whatsoever. So luckily on this one here, the shoulders are staying down. I did still get the little instruction sheet. I was told, or there was some rumour that if you got the new batch with the fixed shoulders, or if that ever even happened, you wouldn't get that instruction sheet. But then I heard from some people that you still get the instruction sheet no matter what. And I would have thought Hot Toys would want to warn collectors of that anyway. So that's pretty much the quick update. Overall, the figure itself, the suit, is pretty damn good. I did film a review on the figure when I first got the broken one, before I realised it was broken. So I'll cut this together with that review and post it up. So stay tuned. I've got Man of Steel hopefully coming soon, and Commander Wolf from Sideshow. So a few things coming up. Black Series just got announced, and the Voltron, and a few Kotobukiya statues as well. So stay tuned to Kool Collectibles, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.